The only way to communicate with your nervous system is through doing. It has to feel different. It can't just talk to it. Like I said, well, I'm safe. Don't worry about it, body. Calm down. That's not going to work. So this is kind of the definition of fake it till you make it. But it doesn't stay there. We're all of our parts are connected. So your brain and your thoughts are connected to your nervous system. So when you slow down, it's going to be really uncomfortable. There's going to be thoughts and beliefs that pop up. You're going to realize, but I'm behind. I need to catch up. But there's not enough time. But, all of these thoughts and beliefs that are wired into our nervous system, our brain functions in a dysregulated way as well. Here's the controversial take I have, which is I don't think we have a full picture of what ADHD is because we've conflated ADHD and being in fight or flight. We've put them in one bucket and called it ADHD. I don't think we truly know, even research-wise, what is ADHD on its own. When you are regulated, when you are not in fight or flight, then what is left over? And there's stuff left over. I'm not saying it's not real. I still have it, and I still feel it, and I still see it.
Hello and welcome to the Attention Different podcast. My name is 𝘠𝑩 Tonti. I am co-founder and co-CEO of Attention Different, and hosting with me today is the extraordinary
Aaron Smith, and I'm a licensed clinical therapist, and I have a practice Potential Within Reach, and a co-founder of Attention Different.
Hell yeah. So most of us with ADHD have a graveyard of tips, tricks, tools, and strategies that worked for 2 weeks and then sort of just stopped working. You know what we're talking about, the planner, the timer, the app, the tracker. But what if the problem was never about the specific tool or strategy to begin with? Jenna Free is a therapist, an ADHDer, and the author of The Simple Guide to ADHD Regulation. Her argument is that until you address what's happening in your nervous system, nothing you bolt on top of it is going to stick. Today, we're going to dive deep into shame, what ADHD looks like when dysregulation stops running the show, and why working toward regulation might be the most ambitious thing you ever do. Jenna Free, we are thrilled to have you on the show. Welcome to the Attention Different podcast. How are you?
I'm great and happy to be here.
Woohoo! Well, Aaron, take us away. Let's dive into regulation and the simple guide to it.
Yes, and I have your book right here. And I just want to compliment you. Yeah, I just want to compliment you about the format and style of the book too. It made it very digestible and understandable, and I feel like it made like neurodivergence first in the way that you designed it, because it's arguably like, you're talking about some very important some very important concepts, but like you put it together in such a simple way. And I love all of the different like pictures and things that you have in here. All of the colors, like just really nicely done. So
yeah, I can speak on Aaron's behalf that he was texting me screenshots and highlighter and stars and horseshoes and hearts and like we were geeking out about it. And a sensation that we had right off the top was less like, I've never thought of this before, but more like, oh, it's all of these things that we've been sharing and saying and celebrating in our own research and journey, but boiled down to its essence and so applicable. So yeah, you engendered a great deal of discourse between Aaron and I on the sidebar. Yeah.
Yes. I do think that, kind of going into it, I do think that's what nervous system regulation is boiling it down to, there's actually a core issue. And when we just focus on that is huge bang for your buck, because it's easy to go, I have this problem and that problem, and there's 30 different symptoms I'm trying to work on. And how do I do all that? That's so much. It's like, well, all of those have some sort of thread connected to the nervous system. So if we just do that, you are going to have a lot of change happening, which is why it's such cool work, because it's actually quite simple, but effective.
Yeah. And a lot of people with ADHD are trying to focus on changing everything all at once. Yes. And we know how that goes. Well, I wanted to take us back a little bit before we get into the meat of the topic today and take us back to your own diagnosis journey a little bit. You got diagnosed at 32, as I understand it. And just, you said that you always felt like you were wired differently. And, when did like kind of I'm just unique stopped being enough of an answer and you wanted to seek out an actual diagnosis? Was it like a point of struggle, a point of tension? What was going on at that point?
Yes, looking back, and I think that's for most people, when I got my diagnosis, I went, oh, okay, yeah, that tracks. But the reason I started thinking there was something more going on than just me being quirky is having 2 kids in under a year and a half and drowning. I just felt like I was drowning, just daily life, sweeping the floor, making food, taking care of kids. Like I couldn't cope. I was thrashing around and all my coping mechanisms were not enough anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really thought, I do think something's up. And in my research, I do not know how I stumbled upon ADHD. It was not a social media rabbit hole at that time. But it was some Googling of certain symptoms, and that came up. I said, that actually makes a lot of sense. And so for 2 years, I'm thinking, I think that's what it is. Like my mom says, there's no way. I'm an only child, goody goody 2-shoes girl, like just this traditional, like, what are you talking about? You're so put together. You're so calm. It can't be that. But of course, as we're learning more, it's not the little boy running around the classroom all the time.
Classic.
Yeah. It's what like people assume because they see us on the outside, right? And a lot of times we're masking, we're trying to hold it together. They may not be seeing all of the kind of messiness that's happening behind the scenes to, how you're showing up. I mean, in your book, you talk about kind of like wearing mismatching socks or going out, the door with like sandals on and like just being frantic and rushing through things. Yeah. So that it's been a kind of a pattern, I think, throughout your life, right?
Definitely. And I think the biggest things that stuck out for me, which are definitely not traditional ADHD symptoms, was like so easily overwhelmed. And so my quote in the book that I just think is the funniest, like little stamp on like, okay, I've always been this way, is asking my college roommate, do you ever not want to take your socks off at night? Because then you have to put them back on in the morning. Like that felt like too much work. Like, I'm so overwhelmed by life. I don't want to have to put socks on. So I'll just leave them on, even if they're uncomfortable. So I don't have to do more work in the morning. And like, she's like, what the hell are you talking about? So just those little things where just tiny stuff felt so overwhelming. I'm just chronically overwhelmed by the life and existing. Whether I was, in university and had a couple classes and looking back, very few responsibilities and a lot of freedom and time versus having 2 kids and a home and a partner and a business. Both situations, I'm overwhelmed. This is an internal issue, not an external issue. So I really saw that overwhelm was a big marker.
Well, that's cool that it's on both sides of the scale, no matter what the context was, and a foundation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many of those symptoms with ADHD that aren't talked about and aren't even part of the diagnostic criteria. One of the other ones that I talk about a lot is like consistency, inconsistency. And, I do think ADHD is kind of a disorder of consistency in a lot of ways because of some of the executive function or dysfunction and some of the nervous system dysregulation, right? Like, so I want to come back to like, for you, as you went into becoming a therapist or working with people with ADHD, when did you shift from thinking about and approaching ADHD in this very traditional model to looking at dysregulation more specifically?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed when I was in grad school to become a therapist, and it became my special interest. So I'm like, I'm going to work with ADHDers. So I took, a couple courses that were on offer through the school and through other continuing education. And that's all. I mean, I haven't done it all. So I'm sure there's great programs out there for therapists. But what I learned was tips, tricks, tools, support them to cope. There's no one talked about any internal work of the ADHDer. It's like, of course, process your emotions and they're in, be seen and heard. But that was it. There was no anything healing work to do internally. It was all, okay, like set timers. That's all it is. That's all it was. Medication. And so that's what I learned. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's what I do. So I started working with clients. I okay, let's try this, let's try that. They'd come to the next session. I didn't do it. You're overwhelmed by putting socks on and I'm going to give you worksheets to do. Like, that's not an effective approach. So I just kept working with people. I'm doing my best. So this is what I'm taught. So off we go, talking with people. Of course, just talking is always nice. Someone to connect with that gets it, right? So that's supportive of people. But I'm like, I think there's more we can do here. And so the thing that really stood out to me as that started me pulling this thread is every single person I talked to, so hundreds of hours, had the same pattern of this frantic crash cycle. So like you said, consistency. I'm either on or I'm off. There is no in between. I'm going hard or I'm completely crashed. Every single person, myself included. And I went, okay. So that is a big problem for us because that's where we're getting a lot of this, these symptoms or this hardship in life is I can't keep it going. I can't show up. I'm burning out all the time. What's going on here? And so, with my therapeutic schooling and pulling some threads, doing some research, going, okay, well, that's fight or flight, right? I'm intense. I'm going hard. I'm overwhelmed. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And then I crash. And then I need the anxiety and the intensity to get back up, do that, and do it again. And round we go. So my mission was, let's soften that difference, right? If you pull the pendulum of 100%, it is going to swing in the opposite direction. We got to stop pulling the pendulum so far so we can find more a sustainable middle ground, which is what happens when you're regulated. So that's what I started doing with people is first and foremost, we have to stop the frantic urgency. And so we started working, in the very traditional sense of regulation, which is physically slowing down, interrupting this very anxious, dysregulated, frantic state where you feel like you're getting chased by a bear. You have to start interrupting that, slowing down, and living in this more soft, gentle way. Now, that is very uncomfortable because your system has lived the past decades thinking we're about to die. We got to go. We got to run. Getting chased by a bear, like faster. We got the impatience. We have the rushing. But every time we live into that, we are saying to our nervous system, yes, you're right. We're in danger. So let's keep freaking out. But, in this work, I find it so valuable to see ourselves as primal beings because that's what we are. We like to think we're so evolved and humans are so complicated. Yeah. Humans are so complicated.
I'm calling out to my friends, we're just monkey people. In colloquials, like we're just monkey people. Don't forget monkey people.
Yes. And so it's so important with this work. So you realize, oh yeah, of course, if I'm in the forest on alert, getting chased by a bear all day, the second I'm out of harm's way, I'm going to collapse, recover, climb in my cave and sleep until, danger is present again. Well, that's how we are living, except we're not in danger. So it's really ineffective, really unnecessary, and really exhausting. And this is where ADHDers go, well, I haven't done anything all day and I'm exhausted. And I was just exhausted all the time, overwhelmed and exhausted. Well, when your system is in fight or flight, that takes a hell of a lot of energy just to exist.
Hey, Stephen here. Sorry to interrupt. We just wanted to take a brief moment to tell you about this week's sponsor. At Attention Different, our mission is simple. Offer ADHD adults proven practical strategies for living a more balanced, fulfilled ADHD life. And that is why we are thrilled to offer our latest course, Thriving with Adult ADHD. While other courses might focus on the pain and struggle of being an adult with ADHD, and we do not want to minimize that, this course is designed around accessible, relevant, and applicable techniques that address the most common challenges facing ADHD adults. Inside Thriving with Adult ADHD, you will learn how to get organized by building routines and habits to bring structure to your days. You'll learn to find balance by optimizing medication, self-care, and professional support. You'll learn to shift your mindset beyond survival mode and instead focus on personal growth. Thriving with Adult ADHD features 2 hours of on-demand video, 10 downloadable resources, lifetime access to the material, and a satisfaction guarantee. Go to attentiondifferent.com/thriving to sign up now. That's attentiondifferent.com/thriving to sign up now. Hey, thanks for the quick break. Now back to the interview. I can relate hard. And Aaron, how many times have we heard from partners or friends or something like, why am I so tired? Like I say this all the time. Like I'll catch myself even. Is that a common refrain for you as well, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Just the tired confusion.
Yeah, we don't even recognize how hard we're running and how much that's draining us and what our energy is like until things happen, right? Until we forget something or something breaks or we're leaving our keys in the refrigerator,
right?
Or we're doing, creating some kind of mishap or accident. I was pulling out of the driveway just yesterday around my garage, and it's very narrow on one side. And I clipped the mirror on my car. Luckily, like nothing happened, but it was just one of those moments that I was like, okay, slow down, refocus. I'm moving too fast, right? Because I caught myself right in that moment of I'm talking to my partner, I'm going back and forth, I'm telling her about something, and momentarily my mind went off of actually driving and being present and noticing that distance and what happens, right? Boom, I'm like clipping the side of the garage door. And I'm like, okay, that's the time. I have to.
Cool.
I have to.
Yeah, when our
myself
spatial awareness, I totally find that when my proprioception, for all those nerdy listeners, right, from right when my spatial awareness, when my clumsy shows up, definitely moving. I'm rushing. You know what I mean? My attention is elsewhere. I'm dysregulating about some interaction with the person I'm about to have or trying not to have. And then like, bang, hit my hand on a chair. That's just a little bit out in the room, and like, and it's a little bit of a Shiva moment. Like, thank you for reminding me to like be in my body. But, okay. So Jenna, you describe a 3-layer framework for regulation. It sounded maybe as though you were starting to get into it a little bit, but could you take us on a dive into that 3-layer framework?
Yes. So the first layer is that physical piece where if you are running around, like you said, rushing, ruminating, if I'm in that dysregulated state physically, what can you do? Right? There's nothing much we can do from there because we are communicating to the nervous system. Yes, you're in danger. So keep it running. Keep that fight or flight switch turned on. Correct. This is dangerous and scary. So we have to do that physical piece of interrupting. And that's in the moment interruption. So most nervous system regulation work you're going to find is what I call task-based regulation. Meditate for 5 minutes, go to a yoga class, tapping exercises, breathing exercises. It's kind of something you could check off a to-do list. The type of regulation I teach is for people who are already overwhelmed by their to-do list, 1. So we don't want to add anything more. But 2, the type of regulation I'm teaching is how do we get your system from a baseline of fight or flight, meaning constant, even when it's less acute, right? You guys are kind of talking about moments where it's a bit more acute. I'm rushing, I'm hurting myself, I'm distracted and bumping the car. But what about when you're like sitting waiting for a doctor's appointment and you're squirming around in your seat? What about when you're really typing fast on the computer trying to get an email over with? It is probably chronic and constant. And what we're trying to do is retrain the system in more of a long-term way to function from a regulated state. Meaning when I wake up in the morning, I'm good. Here I am in my bed, getting up now. Dee-dee-dee-dee-doo. That is my clinical sound for regulation. Dee-dee-dee-dee-doo. This is the energy we want in our lives.
I wish we would record that and put it on our sample.
Not the dun dun dun.
Exactly. That's the dysregulation sound.
Yeah, or Benny Hill.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. So what we want to do is in the moment regulation, meaning just training my system, which this takes time. I get it. Which when we're dysregulated, we're in a rush, but that's just something you got to accept. So it's going to take time. And so when I notice I'm rushing, I slow down again and again and again and again and again. And that can be challenging when we're used to wanting big things that happen fast, but that's the dysregulation talking.
And noticing or identifying when you're dysregulated, just what are those signs? What are some of those main indicators for people?
Yeah. So physical signs would be any physical anxiety, heart racing, shallow breath, rushing, like we mentioned, impatience, hot and flush, talking exceptionally fast where you can't keep up with your own words. And then we have the mental signs, rumination, overwhelm, paralysis, overcompensation, masking, because all of these things are saying, oh, my body thinks I'm in danger right now. It's not going to make any sense to you. It is not going to be logical. The nervous system has no logic. It simply is reactive. And if we've been in a dysregulated state so long, it's really gotten stuck. Like I think of it as like a switch. That fight or flight switch is flipped on and it's stuck there now. No rhyme. And there's no rhyme or reason. So you don't have to start, well, what exactly is dysregulating me? That's just how you function now. Okay. So don't worry about it.
Question it too much and trying to talk yourself into or out of when you're in that state is kind of ineffective, right? Like it doesn't make sense at that point because you're trying to control something that's more of like with a top-down process, something that's more bottom-up. It's a reaction inside of your system.
Yes. And so the only way to communicate with your nervous system is through doing. It has to feel different. It can't just talk to it. Like I said, well, I'm safe. Don't worry about it, body. Calm down. That's not going to work. So this is kind of the definition of fake it till you make it. I understand you feel like you need to rush. You feel stressed. You feel okay. But if you give in to that and just are always letting it sweep you out to sea, if you will, it's just going to keep happening. So what we want to do is interrupt it. So I like to keep it super simple. A deep breath, relax your shoulders, slow down. And then the mental piece is like, be present with the task at hand. So like you said, Stephen, is like, oh, I'm thinking about that conversation I'm going to have later. You are not present with the task at hand, which is walk through this hallway.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm not here. So that's how we come back. So say you're rushing to a meeting and you're tense and you're thinking about the meeting already and you're running. Oh, I'm dysregulated. Take a deep breath, drop the shoulders, walk. I'm walking down the hallway. Come back to where you are. And you did it. There. You just interrupted the dysregulation. You check. Amazing. Good for you. And you probably are going to be rushing by the time you're at the end of the hall again.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's not a permanent change, but it's like, it's doing something active with your body or your behavior to counteract that or disrupt that dysregulation cycle.
Yes. And think of it at yeah, exactly. But you got to think of it as going to the gym. You got to keep lifting the weights, keep doing the reps. It's not, I think a lot of ADHD tools, and so we've been trained to kind of think this way, is the purpose is the immediate win. So the purpose of slowing down in the hallway is just to feel better. No, the purpose of slowing down the hallway is that 2 months from now, your system has been retrained that you are safe and there's no need to be rushing to your meeting, right? This is long-term work. This is not, oh, I'm going to do this work so I'm more productive today. No, it's I'm going to do this work so I'm no longer living in fight or flight for the rest of my life. So that's why we really want to think about it as reps, because it's not going to do much in that one instance, right? Oh, I walked for part of the hallway to my meeting, big whoop. Well, that wasn't the point, though. The point is the rep. You don't go to the gym, do one bicep roll and go, I'm not buff yet. I'm done. Of course not. So we just need to think of this in that same way. It's like, oh, this is a process and this is a retraining. This isn't a tip trick tool for the day.
It's not a quick fix intervention type of thing. This is something we're doing over time to adjust our state.
And am I hearing correctly? That was number one, layer number one. Layer number two.
And that's yes. And that's the simplest one right there. I just taught it completely in its entirety, but it's not easy.
Right.
Because you gotta,
it's a practice.
Yeah. Because you gotta, but it is the simplest layer. So now you just got to keep doing that. And this is where most, I think, regulation stops, is at the body. And we go, oh, deep breaths, calm the system. It's somatic. It's body work. Okay. Period. It doesn't stay there. We're all of our parts are connected. So your brain and your thoughts are connected to your nervous system. So when you slow down, it's going to be really uncomfortable. There's going to be thoughts and beliefs that pop up. You're going to realize, but I'm behind. I need to catch up. But there's not enough time. But all of these thoughts and beliefs that are wired into our nervous system, our brain functions in a dysregulated way as well. So that's the second layer, is thought and belief regulation. And it is more complex. So I can't teach all the elements on this call, but I can say that we can begin being aware of, where am I beliefs rooted in dysregulation. So that's going to be scarcity, guilt, shame, urgency. And scarcity is a big one. Just observe in your thinking where there's scarcity. There's not enough time. Or urgency. Right. Well, I have to rush in order to keep up. Or, fear, fueled by fear. Well, I gotta get this done or I'm going to get in trouble. I mean, how many ADHDers feel like little kids that are always about to get a slap on the hand?
Almost every minute of every hour of every day, there is at least one thought that comes in that is identical to, if I don't text that person, oh, I forgot to call that person. Oh, I left the trash can in the gate, but not at the back where it's supposed to go. I'm going to be in trouble. Mom and dad are mad at me. Yeah, definitely.
And that's a huge part of the mental work, is really connecting to the reality. And I talk about potential and reality a lot. And I'd say that's the main framework of the mental piece. The reality is, there we go. There's the little visual.
Hey.
The reality. Aaron's on it. The reality is I'm an adult. Oh, I forgot. I forgot time has passed and I'm more autonomous and I have freedom and there's no parent or teacher coming to slap my hand. Like, I have free will now. Oh, I forgot. Or I didn't catch up to that reality. And that is a part of regulation work, is realizing you don't have to do anything. You're the boss now. And that just lets you ground and make choices instead of just being reactivity all the time to fear.
Yeah. When we're reactive, we're actually operating from, I think, more of a regressed state, a more childlike state that we conditioned ourselves to be in over time, right?
Well, it's just the nervous system, right? Reactivity is always below consciousness. So subconscious and nervous system, which is, defensiveness or knee-jerk reaction.
But our thoughts and our beliefs and things can reinforce that or exacerbate those things.
Exactly.
So if you're saying to yourself, I'm behind, or I'm going to be in trouble, I'm late, I should have done this earlier, I should have done this already, what's wrong with me? So any kind of judgment, self-talk, negativity, that layers on top of that. And what does that do? That just keeps us in this kind of triggered nervous system where it's heightened. And I think kind of what you're talking about is, how do we bring ourselves out of that place and more into the reality? What's the reality right here in our present moment?
Yes. And that's the mental work is getting out of potential, which people think that's a good word. It's a nasty word because it means this random thought that you could be better, but you're not.
I resonated with that so hard, Jenna.
So you're saying I am not as good as I should be. Okay, cool.
Yes. I thought that in 8th grade, my God. In 8th grade from a professor who I will not name, who was wonderful, lovely professor, but creative writing in English, and read a poem. And the words that came out of her mouth were, wow, but this poem is so strong, such a performance. You have so much potential. You have such great potential. And she thought she was saying something nice. I read her face correctly at 14. And I was like, she thinks this is a compliment, but I am devastated. I thought that this means I failed this poem.
And this is a little ironic because my other company, my coaching practice, right? Potential within reach. Right. And so I have the word baked into my branding and messaging there, but if you think about it, it is like flipping that on its head, right? Because we've always been taught and told you're not reaching your potential, or what's wrong with you. And kind of what I wanted to do was reframe that and say, no, this is within reach. It really isn't about reaching your potential. It's that you already have it. It's right here.
I love that.
So
yes, absolutely.
It's taking what that desire is.
I did not realize that his acronym is POWER until we met and became friends. And I was like, Aaron, the acronym for your company is POWER. You already have
PWR, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there you go.
But so it's really the core thing with the mental regulation is what I call aligning with reality. I think that connects with people more than the idea of safety, because safety is what people talk about when they talk about regulation, like feeling safe, feeling calm. But aligning with reality really makes more sense to me. Like, we're aligning the body with the reality that you're safe. So let's get out of terror mode.
Right.
The reality is you're sitting in a warm house. with your partner. You are completely safe. So we want to align with reality, and then thoughts and beliefs. We want to get out of the potential and align with reality. It is what it is. Here I am.
If you're not,
now what?
And if you're not safe, right? Or if you're not in
same thing. Yeah.
Then let it rip.
Yeah. Then
that's what fight or flight is for.
Reality too. Yeah.
That's what fight or flight is for.
I actually maybe wasn't going to say halfway in between. I think that one of the more important lessons my mother taught me first, and then a series of like CBT trained mentors after that. But like radical acceptance means you might not be feeling, you bring this up in your book, you might not like doing the organizing your office, doing the laundry, doing accept the fact that it is embrace discomfort. It is uncomfortable, right? Like if you make it too binary and safe, unsafe, then an individual may always say, I don't feel safe, or that might translate from I feel uncomfortable. And then all things that present discomfort are bad. And I've witnessed that is also problematic in people's lives. It's like, aligning with reality is also, I don't like this. This sucks. But here we are. But
whether you like it or not, here it is. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So can you just be present with that and carry on? So one of my little slogans that, to interrupt is like, the reality is now what? Because there's so much time saying, well, I really should have showered yesterday. And I didn't shower. I don't have time today. Well, when am I going to shower? Okay, the reality is you didn't shower. Now what?
I love that. I love that phrase.
I could go shower now I guess. Oh, okay. It grounds me. This is like a much more I think tangible way to ground, instead of like, go touch grass. It's like a literal grounding, but also a mental grounding. It's like, okay, but here you are. So let's stop fighting with reality. I should have done this. I should have done that. Okay, but you didn't. So now what? And oh my gosh, when you retrain your brain to just be here and take the one next step. Oh my God, my energy level is wild compared to what it used to be. Like, I'm putting those socks on. I'm getting dressed in the morning. I play tennis multiple times a week. I run a business. I'm writing a second book. Like, it is like I have created more energy, but I haven't. I'm just not exerting it in potential. Well, I should have done this. I should have done that. When am I going to do this? I'm here.
Conserve more of it.
I'm here. I'm living. I'm walking on the ground. I'm doing the one next thing. Whether I like it or not, here I am. Whether I'm happy about how that thing went yesterday, it's done, right? We're just like, and there's so much more power, like we're saying, in reality. That's where you can do something. Potential, swirling around, nothing's going to change. Very disempowering and exhausting. And the real clincher is potential is a lot of work. Dare I say more work than reality? Like, thinking about doing the laundry or not doing the laundry for an hour is more exhausting than doing the laundry. Yet we will spend so much time up there and you get zero fruit for that labor. Zero. There is no progress that can be made in potential, right? Progress can only be made in reality. So in reality, meaning where you physically are, what's physically currently happening in this moment is reality.
Yeah.
This is where I have power. This is where I can do something. This is where when I put effort out there, it is rewarded by clean clothes when I do the laundry, an email sent that I wrote, a brainstorming session that got me a good idea, right? When we spend more time in reality, walking on the ground, I always think of it as like physical. Oh my gosh, I can do so much down here. But when we are caught up in the potential, it is like roller coaster swirling around, getting nowhere and tiring ourselves out. Hello.
Yeah. We lost it for a bit, but this underscores what Aaron and I were responding to, texting each other back and forth over the book. Like ADHDers are extremely gifted at overcomplicating uncomplicated things, right? Yeah. Like just across the board. And you've done the heavy lifting for the reader or for your clients of like, if there's a tone to it though, Jenna, like your tone of voice is very, it's a successful needle threaded. It's both, as my therapist would say, assertive, not aggressive, intense, not insulting. Right? Like you basically say like, no, this is fact, right? You can do something in reality. You cannot do something in potential land. And I think there's something very nice about the cudgel, the sort of bludgeon of that for the ADHDer who wants so badly to overcomplicate it, right? And to throw all this nuance on it and all this personal approach. And it's like, no, it's quite simple actually. Doesn't make it easy, but it's quite simple. In this reality on the ground, you can go do something right now about. Up here in the thought place, literally nothing physical in the physical realm will happen. Right? No. As long as you're up there.
And it drains your energy.
And it's still using your back. That's got to be the double aspect
mental
of it, right?
energy.
You're still using mental energy to do that, but it's not producing anything. So
it's not productive energy. It's destructive energy, or it's the draining type of energy. So that's where you get that energy back. Like you were saying, Jenna, is like by not wasting energy in your thoughts, in your mind, worrying, stressing, anxiety, all those things, constantly overthinking stuff. It's like, no, let's just take one thing at a time. Yeah. Be right here. Like it's so much more like, you know, it helps us to refill our actual bucket. And because we're already working with like a bucket that's like half full because of the the dysregulation that's already there with ADHD. So why would we want to just move through life with that? With spending so much of our time just in this drained state, acting in a frenzy, we kind of get that back. We refill our own bucket in that way.
Yes. And I know people will say, but that's what ADHD is. It's an execution problem. But here's the controversial take I have, which is I don't think we have a full picture of what ADHD is because we've conflated ADHD and being in fight or flight. We've put them in one bucket and called it ADHD. I don't think we truly know, even research-wise, what is ADHD on its own. When you are regulated, when you are not in fight or flight, then what is left over? And there's stuff left over. I'm not saying it's not real. I still have it, and I still feel it, and I still see it.
Yeah, there's regulated ADHD and dysregulated ADHD.
But I'd say I deal with 20% of what I used to deal with, and I have no complaints, like nothing worth writing home about. I'm perfectly happy. Before, I was like, I'm drowning. And I think that's what people think ADHD is I'm drowning. It's so hard. It's debilitating. It's a disability, and it is horrendous. And I'm saying, I don't think that's just ADHD. I don't think inherently this brain difference, it's not a deficit, it's a difference. This brain difference does not inherently make life this hard. So therefore...
I just missed the confetti cannon button. But that is, Sorry,
Therefore, if you are feeling like you're drowning, you have something else up too. And that's the being in fight or flight. And that's the thing that can be improved. That's the thing that can change. The ADHD brain is what it is. You got that, and that's yours to keep, which I'm excited for you for. I love my ADHD brain, but you're going to love it a lot more when it's not in fight or flight. And so that is what I'm talking about and it starts with, and so I'm kind of backtracking a little bit before we get to the third layer. It starts with, you cannot see yourself as an ADHDer that cannot change. If you go, well, that's just ADHD. This is just how it is. I can't help.
Right. I hear this on social. This irks me too.
Aaron is fangirling right now.
This is what does piss me off is like, I hear this of, I can't because I have ADHD. No, I just can't. That's just the way my brain works. That pisses me off. Like, and you hear this, different people out there say this, and it gets a lot of likes. It gets shares because people, what do? They're like, yeah, that's me, right? I feel that way, right? And they relate to it. It's very relatable content. Yeah. It's relatable content. That's what it is, right?
I call it commiseration content.
Right. I love that. Commiseration
content. Isn't it so
content.
Hard? Isn't it horrible? Yes. And we're saying, yes, it is. There's nothing you can do about it. So just keep using those calendars.
Yeah. Keep feeling stuck. Keep feeling like you're doomed to have this type of life. But what your message is, and I think what our message is, and this is where we align on this, is no, this life does not have to be this hard. And it's not inherently your ADHD brain, right? ADHD does have certain tendencies, and there's certain things that are different about it. But what makes it so hard oftentimes is how we're relating to the world and how we're relating to ourselves and what we're doing. Because those beliefs, those internalized beliefs and those self-limiting things that we're telling ourselves and the ways that we go about our lives and our day-to-day, how we're approaching things, all of that influences how well we're functioning or not functioning.
Exactly. And that's
Amen.
so what I start with people when I'm doing this work is like, okay, put your regulation goggles on, meaning, and this is slightly like extreme, but I think it's a really good place to start. Assume everything you're experiencing is dysregulation. Every symptom, and I have people who also have OCD, who also are diagnosed with anxiety.
Right.
Assume all of it.
Yeah.
But assume everything is be you in fight or flight. Let's dig around in there, look under the hood and go, well, what's this paralysis about? What's this procrastination about? What's this avoidance about? What's this urgency about? What's this? Let's look around. Let's see what we can regulate and see what's left over. As opposed to, well, I have ADHD, so yeah, I have paralysis. No further investigation, no further discussion.
Right.
I'm not going to look at that. I'm accepting it, and I'm going to sit on my couch for 6 hours today wishing I could get up, and I'm not going to look any further. I mean, that's kind of what we're trained to do with the content that's out there, with the ADHD conversation. Oh, isn't it so hard? Ha, 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 we're in this together. I think we really have been trained, especially with social media, to believe this is just how it is. There's nothing you can do about it. So don't look at your symptoms any further, slap a label on it, and carry on. And I think that has been a huge negative, come to a huge detriment to the community and all ADHDers, and really is keeping people stuck. And so my whole message is let's put some new goggles on and go, okay, wait, let's look under the hood. What is going on with this overwhelm? What is happening when I'm avoiding that thing? And I have found almost every single thing is going to have some, like I mentioned, some thread to a nervous system that is in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Yeah. Yeah. To double underscore Aaron's point, like a good friend of mine is just coming around to the radical acceptance of his ADHD, and he's a high capacity, high IQ kind of person. He comes from the other side of, to quote him twice, he says, well, Stephen, of course, for the better part of my life, I had to believe that I must be special, that I can't just have this brain wiring that so many people have. And this is what posing me these challenges. I must be unique. And so that's why he avoided medication and treatment, and then and has come around to this belief. The second quote from him that really rocked me recently was, I am not deficit nor disordered. I have a unique brain wiring, and I live in a society that was built maladaptive to my unique traits. Right. And I found that to be, Paul with the poetry. This is an excellent point in this direction, right? Like there are a million reasons why person A, adult A, may walk out into the world and feel dysregulated. Those of us who practice breathwork and meditation, yoga, mindfulness practices, etc., we know this. It's not I'm ADHD, therefore I freak out. No, it's I'm a human being, and I'm an adult in 2026 in the United States, and there's a lot of crazy shit happening every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like there's plenty of shit going on to dysregulate you. Wouldn't it be very powerful to focus on confronting fear, flight, freeze, fawn, etc., on in the meditative or breathwork practice, working on parasympathetic nervous system versus sympathetic nervous system, getting to know why your body freaks out is less important than it does freak out, and what now do I do about it, right? Yeah, exactly. Like that, and I think that's kind of part of this, right? ADHD also has to go into that bucket of, it's not necessarily empowering ultimately to know why you're freaking out. It's much more empowering to know what to do about it when you are freaking out or when you are spinning out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to do a little note, because from what you said, I think probably bring up some regulation justification that is out there. It's but look at the state of the world. Of course I'm dysregulated. Yes, I understand that, but there's no reason to stay in dysregulation because of that.
Right.
You in fight or flight on your couch does not help causes in other places of the world, unless it's an actual bear chasing you. Fight or flight is useless. So just being really careful, because I've, even during certain groups I'm running, during certain elections, it's like, but of course I'm dysregulated. Of course I'm dysregulated, which yes, but then there is this belief of like, and I have to be. There's no way around it. There's nothing I can do about it. Something. But it's like, no, that's not true. Actually, you being regulated is going to make you such a better advocate.
Right.
It's going to make
we agree
you
with the first
so
side of that
better.
coin. It's the backside where it's like, but you're that is a choice that you've made. The feeling in your body based on what's going on out there, the stimuli, we're with you. Sign off. But now what? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now what?
Yes, exactly. And
So
it's always
third layer.
Yeah. And then the third layer is the behavior. How am I doing things that's adding to my dysregulation? And that's mostly all or nothing thinking and or all or nothing patterns. So if you notice, oh, I see I either clean the whole house or I don't pick up my towels off the floor. I either start this work project and hammer it out in 8 hours, or I don't even open the email to learn about it. I'm either doing this perfectly, or why bother? I'm going to start this hobby, buy every single tool, spend all the money on it, or don't even start. That is dysregulation, right? The extremes, the pendulum swing. And we want to find balance, which is retraining your brain into flexible thinking, which is going to be actively and consciously choosing something in the middle. And that can look like chipping away. So if you're a person who's like, well, I don't start unless I can do the whole thing in one sitting, we want to actively challenge that by chipping away. Maybe you have an hour here and there and it feels uncomfortable. You're not used to it. That's okay. Like you said, you got to face some discomfort sometimes, and retrain your system. Oh, look, this is actually also an effective way to do things. And it's going to give you a much more feeling to life than, oh, I blast through my house and clean the whole thing and then I don't do anything for a month. And then it's disgusting and I blast through my whole house and we got to get out of that cycle.
Yeah. So we interviewed Brendan Meehan, and is it Mahan? Mahan? Yeah.
Brendan Mahan, and friend of the pod.
Yeah. Brendan Mahan recently about his like wall of awful concept, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you bring this up in your book, and I love the way you kind of flip this and reframe this. You kind of take that wall of awful concept and say, yeah, we're building up all of these bricks, but a lot of the bricks that we are building up that become barriers to us moving forward or doing anything or approaching that overwhelming task, those are actually, like, if we're approaching them in a more regulated way and we're breaking them down, we flip the wall from being this big thing in front of us to something we lay down. It becomes, instead of a wall, a brick path. And you illustrate this in your book. I just love that example of like how we can take the wall that feels insurmountable, and actually it's flipping it, putting it down, laying it down, and saying, well, what do? I take one brick at a time and I walk through this path. Yeah.
Well, and that again is challenge. Like, the brick wall is a perception that is not real. That is potential.
Right.
I should be doing this. I have to do this. The reality is you can only do one thing at a time. There's 24 hours in the day. You are one person with one head, 2 arms, one body. And that's what this regulation work is about, is breaking down all the BS that shows up, convincing us otherwise. It has always been true that you can only do one thing at a time. It has always been a path. You're just seeing a wall. So that's all it is like, how do I connect with reality more? Time and space are linear. I have limited capacity.
It feeling like it's real does not mean it's real.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And if people say, oh, I feel overwhelmed. Yeah. Okay. You're feeling overwhelmed, but that's not like a physical barrier in front of you. It's not like I don't know what to do. I don't actually have a place to start. It's just, I'm thinking about the whole thing and making it so big in my mind that I'm not even seeing the forest from the trees anymore.
Exactly. And so it's, a lot of this work is awareness. So yes, it's the interruption, it's the tools, it's the strategies, it's the doing, but it's just the awareness. Like, when I'm overwhelmed, I know that's a me problem. That's in my brain. That is not like there's too much to do problem. Because whether I have a to-do list of 3 things or 1,000 things, I can still only do one thing at a time. It's going to take as long as it's going to take.
Yes. And also, like, I just heard, sorry, I just had like a you go girl moment inside my own head, like for myself, being like, wait a minute, Stephen, such gold lesson here. I egg on my face. The times in which somebody has asked me in my life, how do you feel today? And I respond, I'm crushing it. Typically, those are days in which I have an amount of things to do that most people would consider too much. Right. And I'm getting through them one at a time, and I'm present through each of them. And I feel very present at each one. And by 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., I answer the question, I'm crushing it, because I'm in that flow state of getting through those things. And how funny that if you flip the script and someone asks me like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, I'm just trying to power through till Friday. I'm in the weekend. That's where my brain's at. And I might have the exact same number of things to do that day. That hasn't changed. It's that my internal process has changed. Right. And I'm not getting that reward that I got on the Thursday, you know, but yeah, egg on my face. It is. It's where I'm starting from. Right. Not what I have to do.
And dysregulation and ADHD symptoms, even a lot of it is a inaccurate perception issue. So when we're in fight or flight, we will have temporal distortion, meaning time distortion. Time blindness? Is that a concrete symptom? I'm not saying yes or no, but when we're in fight or flight, that will make it much worse. I have temporal distortion. I'm confused about time. I'm not perceiving time properly. I feel like there's not enough time. I'm overwhelmed by time. I'm right in a panic. And then we also have cognitive distortion. So I'm seeing the brick wall. That's not the reality. That is a perception. And so once you start realizing, a lot of my issues are like how I'm seeing things, not how things really are. The things themselves are not the problem. The long to-do list is not the problem. It's you perceiving the to-do list all needing to get done now. The temporal distortions where you feel you don't have enough time, you have to rush, it's urgent. That is the problem, not the to-do list, not the things. That's a ink and paper. It means it's nothing. It's like, that is not a real thing. And this is radical, right? This is not the way people think normally, but I have found it so freeing to go like, what other choice do you have but to be here and take the one next step? That's the only place that exists, and the rest is just us spinning around, freaking out because we think we're getting chased by a bear. So once you calm that down, you just really start to have a chuckle about it. And I think you said like the tone is not like, wah, 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 you should be doing these things, because shame, guilt, shoulds is all dysregulation. It's all potential. And it's just going like, okay, when someone's like, yeah, but I have so much to do. I'm like, okay, so what's your options? Do one thing at a time, and then the day will end. You will go to bed, you will wake up, and then you'll do more things. Like, what other option is there? And they'll always go, oh, there isn't one.
How do you deal with someone who is kind of stuck in that shame or guilt associated with their dysregulation, where they're like, oh, I should have done this earlier, or I feel bad that I haven't started, or those kind of things, how they layer on shame and guilt?
Yeah, so I really... especially once you're already learning this and you're kind of buying in, you need to buy in. Like if you're like, regulation is stupid, then maybe it won't work. But I always tell people, just put a piece of paper. Top is potential, bottom is reality. Write your problem out. What is what? I should have done it earlier. Okay, that's potential. So throw that away, because that's just a random thought you're like, that's not real. That's a thought you're having that's dysregulating you. What's the reality? You didn't do it. Yeah. Okay, now what? Trying to go, I should have. Oh, this is just so hopeless. Like you didn't. Okay. Oh, and that's okay. That's the thing. And you're safe. You didn't do it yesterday, and that's fine. What do you want to do now? Because here you are. Here's where you have any control or power. Now what? And that sometimes the now what is, I'm going to watch TV and relax. This is not a like trick to be Energizer Bunny and be productive all the time. This is about how to be present in your life, get out of dysregulation, preserve your energy, put your effort into the places where you have any power whatsoever, and live a good, enjoyable life, walking on the path, walking on the ground. It's the theme here is time and space are linear. You can only do one thing at a time. There's no rush. And can you practice living in that linear state instead of this spider web we have of like, I have to get everything done. I have to get it all done now. I have to stack everything up and get it done yesterday. It's like, oh my God, exhausting.
Yeah. So shame and guilt are kind of stuck in the past. They're not present. They're not here. It's like, I should have done this earlier.
Okay. Yeah. So choose a different thought. Like it's a thought. It is your nervous system trying to motivate you. So really good question to ask yourself when you're experiencing anything that's troubling. You're like, why would my brain do this? There is nothing your body and brain would do in health that thinks it's hurting you, right? So beating yourself up and thinking you're a piece of shit, your brain's not doing that because you're naughty and deserve a punishment. It's not trying to hurt you. Right. Okay, so what is it doing then? Oh, what are the motivators of dysregulation? Fear, guilt, urgency, shame. It's like creating your own bear. Get going, get scared, run. But there's no need for that. You don't need to be scared. You don't need to be running. You don't need to be chasing. You don't need to be frantic. It doesn't work in this situation. You are not in a situation where that's going to be effective. So we want to spot and go, oh, I see what you're doing, little brain, trying to motivate me by making me feel like shit. So I keep running from the bear. I want to stop, living in this running from the bear energy. And that's going to be, just kind of letting it go, going, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I'm in potential. Okay. The reality is I haven't taken the garbage out. Now what? I mean, the choices are go take the garbage out or don't, honestly. It's always very simple. It's very calm.
There's do or don't do. Like, am I doing this or am I not? Am I acting on this or am I not?
Yoda.
Yeah. There is no try. There is no. There's do or not do. There is no try.
I'm going to do Yoda. And there is no try. Only do or do not. Close.
But it starts to. I find it to be fun. It's like, oh, silly me. I thought I could argue my way into like changing the past. Like, oh, I should have. Oh, of course, but I didn't. So now what? And it's like, it's especially if you have like a curious mindset about it. And this is the beauty of regulation. My most favorite part, I say that about everything, but one of my favorite parts is regulation is the only way to identify what you want to change and work on changing it without all this turmoil. It's like, maybe the reality is I'm scrolling on my phone. I don't want to. Okay. So let's work on that instead of like, I'm such a piece of shit. I scroll all the time. I can't believe I'm so horrible. I'm so disgusting. I need to not do this. And then you don't want to work on it because you feel so much shame about it. So you don't want to even face it.
We're not motivated to change any kind of behavior in our life from a place of shame and guilt, despair.
Yes. Unfortunately,
you're motivated to hide from it.
Yes, but the dysregulation doesn't. Yes. The dysregulation doesn't realize that. The dysregulation is like, okay, crack that whip. That's the only way to get them moving. But negative motivators will only ever get you out of harm's way. So people right now listening will be like, but that's what works. Okay. Are you reaching big lofty goals? Are you going after things? Are you consistent? Is it? And are you enjoying your life? Because that's just as important of a part of this equation. You deserve to have a life that is worth living and is enjoyable. So is all that happening with negative motivators? I highly, highly doubt it. Negative motivators, yes, they had me writing 15-page papers the day before they were due in university, but just getting out of harm's way, just making the deadline,
I love that.
Just cleaning my house before someone comes over, never more than that. But positive motivators, which yes, you have access to, you just got to get out of fight or flight, desire, want, enjoyment. My God, that keeps me going forever. I've shown up with, since I started my private practice, 3 years, every single day I show up. I'm nowhere near burnout because I do this because I want to, not because I'm afraid that I'm shitty if I'm not successful enough. Like that will never get you further than the bare minimum. So we just want to observe that, like, is it really working? In reality, it might feel like it's working in potential, right? Oh, it feels fast. It feels intense. I feel like I'm getting things done.
No, that's just like the default state. It's almost like when people are like, I don't use a planner because I hold everything in my mind. I have this great memory. It's like, well, no, that's just because like you are existing in this default state of, I believe I can remember everything I need to do. And I don't want to pressure myself to put everything into a calendar because that feels even worse if I don't do it. So I'm avoiding actually writing it down.
Yes.
Right. There's these things. And like, if we're approaching life in the way you said of just like constantly running up to the last moment and barely eking by and getting it in because of that pressure that's out there externally, that may feel like that's the only way to do it because that's what your pattern has been up to this point. But that is not the only way to live.
Yes, absolutely. And I will say that, like, if someone is like, oh, I can't use a calendar because it puts too much pressure on me and I feel too guilty when I don't do things, that's all dysregulation. We can work through that. Like, it's ink on a page that you put there. It is not unsafe. It's fine. You can, again, you are an adult. Do and don't do whatever the hell you want. Like, you can do whatever you want. There's no wrong answer. And this is where we get into the radical thinking of regulation, but I love it. It's like, you're a grown up. There's no right or wrong answer. You can do whatever you want. There's nothing you have to do. Now, from that place, how do we live? And oh my God, you will be shocked, because right now you think the only thing getting me moving is guilt, shame, urgency, fear, obligation, shoulds, fear of people being mad at me. Yeah, but that doesn't work. When you are like, oh, this is my life and I have autonomy and I have freedom. Now, what do I want to do? It's going to be a lot of what you're already doing, because you're doing what you're doing because you want to do it. You just might feel resentful of it. And this is where, I even used this in the past, and this is kind of where weird regulation tools come in, of being so frustrated, like, I gotta, take care of my kids, or I gotta make them dinner, and I'm so frustrated, I'm tired. And you go, okay, Jenna, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. Don't do it then. Oh, fine. Okay. I actually want to. Like, do I really? Because you could. I could kick those kids out and shut the door. I could. There's nothing stopping me. But I don't want to. And so when you take off this like fake armor of like, I have to, you don't have to do anything. There's nothing, not one thing. Well, I have to get it for it. No, you don't. Well, then I won't get paid. Well, yeah. That's reality. That's
so you want to earn a living. Yeah, you want to earn a living.
Yeah. But you don't have to. And you'd be quite amazed at how that softens the nervous system. You don't feel like an animal in a cage. Again, go back to our primal self. When you believe, I have to do this, I have to have so many responsibilities, I have to, it's very dysregulating. You're going to be in panic mode. It's resentment, frustration.
You feel cornered. You feel trapped.
Exactly. Exhausted to be in that cornered, trapped energy. So when you take all those walls down and go, oh, I'm lit, I'm fully autonomous, I can do whatever I want. Again, a lot of what you do is probably going to be what you're already doing, but in a completely different way.
This has inspired something since I've recorded everything you're saying, but I have like yogi mentors of mine in my brain. And cool. Like a lot of work that I've done in this space that was positive for me was gratitude, mindfulness, like just focusing on gratitude. And it tends to, in pop culture, start to get a little like squicky or crunchy or like, mushy to a point where people like to be cool and fight back, but what are you grateful for? This all inspires me to the sentence shifting from I've got to do this to I get to do this, right? Like,
or do I want? Sorry, I would just go even further and like, do I? You don't have to, because it's kind of still feels like, well, I get to, but I still have to. But I'm appreciative of it, but I have to. No, you literally don't have to. And then what comes up when you take that demand off, right? Demand avoidance. Well, when nothing's a demand, what are you avoiding? It's your life.
There's nothing to avoid.
Don't do the laundry then.
Life is life. That's part of this radical acceptance of the reality. The reality can be both comfortable and uncomfortable. There's going to be lots of good things, bad things, neutral things, everything happening all at once. And it's here. Life is here. It's happening in front of us. And are we an active player in our life? Are we leading with that curiosity and lightheartedness? And are we taking in what is in front of us? Or are we resisting and creating this false tension that's there?
Yeah, totally. And that's, just because I didn't say that off the top. And what fight or flight does is blood flow leaves the brain, lowers executive functioning, increases ADHD symptoms, decreases the capacity to enjoy and be present. So it's a big deal. Like being in fight or flight is a big deal biologically. It is making everything so much worse, like at a very physical level. This isn't just like nice, happy thoughts. This is, when the fight or flight switch is turned on, it is creating real issues biologically. And that's why it's so impactful when we work on it.
Amen. You can hear all these pauses. I got to call it out, Aaron. All these pauses after Jenna makes a point or after we finish a point. I just find them to be such a confirmation. Like this is like both Aaron and I have been rubbing the same spot of our beards. And it feels like that sort of like deep in thought. Like this is just, I don't know. It feels like an ongoing confirmation of the stuff we've been working on for a decade. Like there's real sincere alignment here, and not just with each other, but like the mentors and the people we've surrounded ourselves with have all been driving less towards sorry to call it out, but my TEDx talk that went viral, I had 3 slides. What, so what, and now what? That was my last slide on the big screen. Right?
Cool, I love that.
Section.
Yep.
That was how I broke down the 3-act, script. And so I think and I was only 21, 22 when I wrote that. So that
so cool.
That idea was there early on for both of us. And I don't know who our first shot across the bow was. For me, it was kind of my mom, and also a little bit my dad, but very much my mom. That now what? Okay, yes, this sucks, or this is great. Now what? And then throughout many decades thereafter, figuring out more about the central nervous system and like regulate in a biological way and why that's.
Yes. And really seeing like this is a process. So people will ask me like, well, what are some tips and tricks? I'm like, that's so beyond the point. Like, this is a process. You kind of want to do all the steps together to be profound enough, like I said, to reset your nervous system to a new baseline. I'm not looking for whack-a-mole nervous system regulation, which I do think is out there and has its place and is valuable. Where like, wow, I'm really at an acute moment and I need to take a step out and go do some meditation. Right? That's like, well, I'm trying to hit the dysregulation that's currently popping up. Whereas my type of regulation, which I think both is a beautiful combination, is like, let's do the lower level, long-term retraining so that your system now functions like from here as the baseline. And of course, you'll get dysregulated, but you're not waking up and in chronic 24/7 dysregulation. And I find that is what is making people function in a different way. So not only having those tools that I know how to come back down, but I don't get there in the first place. So it's like putting those two together is really, really powerful.
Yeah, you're not starting in that place. I hear this from so many of my clients of just like, okay, I'm feeling stuck. I'm having a hard time getting out of bed. I'm stuck on my phone. Okay, well, that's freeze, right? Or I'm waking up and early, before my alarm, and I'm just jolting out of bed because I have this long to-do list. Okay, what is that for you right now? That's this fight, or flight response, depending on where you're at with it. But it's like, you're having to kind of like rush and feel already just on edge. So it's like, how you start your day. Like, are you approaching life and your day and everything in a way that's more regulated, or are you entering in this already heightened sense and dysregulated state? And that tends to persist throughout the whole day. And like what you're saying is like, people try to say like, okay, well, exercise or do the meditation or do yoga and do all these practices. But if you're just doing those things as this like added thing on top of the day, but the whole rest of the day is just in this dysregulated, dysfunctional, very stressed out place, you'll have this moment of maybe some calmness or some relaxation, or but it's fleeting, right? And every moment, kind of what you're actually saying is we're training people to approach every moment of their day in a more regulated way. Exactly. That's a whole different practice.
It is, yes. And realizing, yes, you got to slow down, but then when you slow down, it's going to trigger thoughts and beliefs, and then we got to work through those and how we act and,
I'm not doing enough. There's too much going on. I can't afford to slow down.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really looking at all the pieces of the puzzle and keeping at it and thinking, and I think how you think of it as well. This is not a tool to fix a problem and then you move on. This is a way to live the rest of your life. So I know that, I've been doing this long enough where I don't really have to think too consciously about it, but I know this is like the philosophy I will live the rest of my life is like, slow down. If it's uncomfortable, there's probably I'm probably rushing or believing something that's not true. And it's just such a quick little, come back. But you just naturally do that. But you will be using the tools for the rest of your life because you're a human being that will get dysregulated. You're not a robot monk that has no thoughts or feelings anymore. You're still human. And so just realizing, this is a valuable way to see life and do life, then it kind of takes the urgency out of it. Like, I have to figure this out, crack the code, check off, okay, I'm regulated, move on. Oh no, this is just a way to see things, a lens to see life through, and a way to make things so much better.
Yeah, what's the difference between apathy? Because you kind of touched on that just then. Of people feel like, well, if I'm regulated all the time or I'm working on this, does that mean I'm not fully feeling things with the kind of intensity that's there? or required in those situations? Am I being apathetic to my life?
Yeah. Here is a controversial take. I do think a lot of our emotions, obviously not all emotions are so amazing and life-giving and rich. A lot of our emotions are just your nervous system freaking out. Like, you are not actually sad or you are not actually anxious. Your nervous system thinks you're getting chased by a bear and therefore you have big feelings.
It's a reaction.
If you were regulated, you would feel differently in this moment. Just because you feel less, does that mean it's wrong? Well, being less upset by stuff and being more relaxed and easygoing and present, and I think that's good. But like, I will say the one thing I like about social media is I love emotional videos that make me like cry because it's so beautiful. Like, I love emotion like that. I love laughing till I cry. I always say that's like my favorite. That's the purpose of life. Laughing till I cry. It is just I specifically have one friend, like every time we hang out, I'm going to be crying because I'm laughing so hard. I love that. That is the purpose of it all.
If you're listening, such an important, invaluable human in your life.
Yes. So rich, so beautiful. However, freaking out about every tiny thing and being overwhelmed by laundry is not emotions. Like, so feeling more chill about life, I think, is a really valuable thing, because what emotions are genuinely like, wow, my heart is having feelings, to kind of put it in a cheesy way, versus my nervous system is freaking out because I feel unsafe. And so I think a lot of what we feel is just nervous system dysregulation. And therefore, it's like, do the regulation work first? Because some clients will ask, like, well, what about like emotions? I got to process my emotions. I'm like, well, we're talking about, the stress you have from being dysregulated. Are we kind of feeding into it? Can we regulate first and then see what's left over? Kind of like the symptoms. Yes, we could go, oh, this is my ADHD symptom. Okay, but for now, could we just call it dysregulation, play around with it, see what we can do? And maybe in the end it will be. This is a concrete symptom. I don't really see much changing. I will say for me, that is memory. That shit ain't changed. I still goes in one ear, out the other, and I can't remember a damn thing. Attention to detail, no matter how hard I try, I'm dropping the balls on little things. Those are two very strong, like quote unquote negative symptoms that regulation hasn't really changed much, but everything else it has. But if I just go, well, no, I'm very emotional and I'm very sensitive and that's just how I am. So I'm not going to look at any of that. I'm not going to look under the hood and go, well, why? Is some of this just dysregulation? Could I work on it and then see? And maybe it won't change, but I suspect, and I have seen a lot of people where they go, oh, like life is not such an emotional upheaval all the time. I'm okay. I'll give it.
This is fascinating.
Specific example.
Controversy in it.
Yes, controversial. I like to be on the fringes sometimes. Very specific example. I was at my parents' house, where I am right now, years ago, when my kids were very small, at my just dysregulated peak, like just keeping my head above water, drowning. My son was beside me in his high chair. He's probably 1. My mom thought he was choking, so she's across the table and goes like this. And I go like this, and my adrenaline's coursing through, and I start bawling my eyes out. Just bawling my eyes out. Like, oh my gosh. God. Like, that was not normal. That is not who I am now. Now I could go, oh, are you okay? Oh, you're okay? Okay, good. Like, I would not have that same huge reaction because my nervous system had I was functioning where I'm here. So to the listeners, I have my head up to the top of my hand up to the top of my head. I'm like this, like one more thing and I'm going to blow. Yeah. And so I would get upset easily, or I would be angry. Oh, here's another example. It's just like, I feel so bad, but I don't because I'm regulated. So no guilt or shame needed. But when my kids would wake up sick and they couldn't go to daycare and I had work to do, I would be so angry. I would like punch the mattress, like, damn it, I'm going to get everything done. I don't feel that way anymore. Now I'm like, oh, okay, they have to stay home. What are we going to do? How are we going to figure this out? So does that mean I'm like numbing myself and I'm not? No, I was dysregulated and reactive. And a lot of that came out anger, sadness, resentment, frustration, rejection sensitivity, dysphoria. Are those emotions or is that dysregulation? It's dysregulation. So it's very it's tricky because I'm not saying ignore your feelings, squish them down. I'm saying let's process through regulation and see how that it changes some of your emotional experience, because it has changed mine immensely. I am so much less reactive emotionally. And I'm not faking it. I'm not pushing anything away. It simply isn't there because my nervous system is not producing that.
Yeah. But I remember just kind of hearing the Dalai Lama talk about some of this. He was asked a question, or, he's said that this is kind of a Western question that gets asked to him multiple times, which is like, well, if I do more mindfulness or meditation, or if I'm more accepting about things, and name your practice, right? Does that produce apathy, or, am I going to become cold and kind of not caring anymore about the things that are happening? And what the Dalai Lama kind of said is that, no, it's not that. It's actually, it's doing this work is actually like a cure for detachment. And it doesn't make you more cold. It actually fosters a deeper sense of emotional awareness and connection, and it clears out those negative emotions, and is creating a foundation for a more profound state, which is a state of compassion. And Buddhists kind of talk about this, of like, there's difference between empathy and reactive emotional states that we're talking about here, and actual compassion. Because compassion, I think, is grounded in this mindful awareness of what is happening. A compassion for ourselves, a compassion for others. So it actually creates a much more connected state, because you're no longer in your head reacting and thinking, how is this making me feel? What is, and really that's actually a reaction, right? What they said is making me feel upset. What they said is making me happy. What they said is making me frustrated. What they did is making me feel this way. No. You're able to filter that stuff in a different way, where you actually choose how to respond and not just be in reaction mode.
Yes. And I love what you said about like connectedness. I will say a really cool side effect of regulation is, one, I'm so, like you said, compassionate to myself. That counts too. How many of you people listening use negative self-talk to fuel themselves? They beat themselves up all the time. And then you're like, that's not good. That's not kind. That's not loving and connected. So I'm very compassionate to myself, because I understand I'm just a little scared animal making it through.
always just a really sweet person.
Sweet little thing. Like, but I don't just go, oh, so that's how it is. And I do something about it so I can have a really rich, good life. But I'm also so compassionate to others. Some asshole comes by and he's ranting and raving. I'm like, oh, that little guy, he's scared. That little guy's nervous system is like, woo, defensive. Guy going through traffic, we're passing everybody. I'm like, oh, that sweet thing. He's dysregulated. Like, I'm so much more compassionate to people. I'm like, you are just an animal like me. You're not dealing with it very well. And I'm not condoning bad behavior, but I'm so much more compassionate with people. Another bonus, when I'm in lines, because I'm more patient now, because I'm not feeling like I'm getting chased by a bear, and someone, when someone's in front of you and you can tell they feel bad, it's like, oh, sorry, I'm taking so long. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm in no rush. To give that gift to the person in front of me of like, whereas someone else is going to be like tapping their foot, like, come on, hurry up. You are an asshole when you're in fight or flight. I'm sorry. Even if you feel really guilty, you feel bad for the state of the world. You're also a dick to the person in the grocery store. You're also a jerk to yourself. You're also like, oh my God, that person was so rude. Blah, blah, blah. Look, they're just a little scared animal too. So when you really get into regulation work and realize we're all just walking nervous systems, and when you calm it down, it's just like, oh, everything's fine. Like I'm way less critical of others, of myself. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think that is so much more rewarding than like just being upset about the state of the world all the time. What is that getting you?
Oh, it's invaluable. It spreads. The gift spreads, as you said. It's like it's a bummer. It's always been a bummer to me. And I do get this from my mother. My mother definitely inculcated this into her children early. But like, you have no idea where that person came from or what they're going through. You just know they're upset. Why add to that? Like, why make that worse with your upset? Like what is that doing in that moment? Right. And I resonate with that so deeply. Truly the coffee line, the grocery store line, like when you watch somebody, when you see the person in front of you taking a long time and the person behind you is huffing.
Yeah.
Or when they lean forward, my favorite thing is when they lean forward to try and include me in their dysregulation.
Yeah.
Like, this chick. I'll be like, what? She's trying to pay. I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah.
And just go back
Totally.
to standing in line. Because I'm like, don't include me in you. I don't, no. Like, hi, sir. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
what happens is like whatever our internal state is starts to get reflected externally. We take it out on other people because we're taking it out on ourselves.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, so that, for the people who are like, oh, regulation's going to dampen things, it's going to make you much more compassionate. It will make you more calm. But really, do we want to be reactive, upset, people freaking out all the time? I don't think that's of value.
It's so much nicer to be calm, to move.
It's not going to dampen. It's not going to dampen. It's going to deepen.
Yes, I love that. It makes me more patient with my kids. Me and my husband get along so much better. Co-regulation's real, people. So because I've never taught him any of this, I've never explicitly even shared my work with him because he's got his life, I got mine, and we have our life together. I don't need to be preaching my regulation work. If he asks, that's fine. But so he hasn't done the work, but I've done the work. And him, just in proximity to me, is so much more relaxed than he used to be. He's very type A, if not some probably undiagnosed things going on. But he's so much more relaxed. He's so much easygoing. We get over our arguments in 30 seconds because we both realize, oh, I'm just being defensive or this, and we can laugh about it. It just makes for such a much more beautiful life, much more connected. And yes. And for the people who are like, oh, but if I'm not upset in an upheaval about what's going on in the world, just observe your belief. Does that mean you're a bad person? Well, if I'm regulated and calm in my home and there's something bad happening, I'm a bad person. That's a really weird, twisted belief. You're not helping anyone on your couch being upset. When I'm regulated, I've hosted workshops and 50% of the proceeds go to this cause and that cause, things happening. I take action. I help. I do things I give a shit about. Right. I don't sit there going, oh, isn't the world horrible? Okay, well, that doesn't do anything. So it's really regulation gets those feet on the ground and go, what's the reality? How can I actually help? If I care, I want to help, not just be upset about it. And if I can't do anything about it, there's no point just being upset about it. I will have compassion. Sure. But if that compassion is in a random thought and there's no one near me to give the compassion to, it's kind of for you and not for them. But I can bring compassion to every human being that is around me when I'm regulated. And like we've talked about, it is so lovely in just regulation is win, 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 win. There is no downside to it.
I had a mentor tell me one time, to take care of others, take care of yourself. And to take care of yourself, take care of others. And I relate this to your core message too of regulation. It's like when we regulate ourselves, we actually are giving a gift to other people as well.
Totally.
And that's all part of this whole process here is the more regulated we are in ourselves, the more we are constantly giving that gift to the world, which so many of the problems of the world exist because it's being run by dysregulated industries, dysregulated people, unregulated practices, right? We can track all of this stuff to those things. So
yes,
I know we're approaching time here, and I think we kind of need to wrap up. I know we could speak on this for hours upon hours upon hours because there's so much more to do here. And this isn't, like you said, not something that's do these 5 things and get the quick fix now. This is a deep practice. It's coming into ourselves and into our lives in a much more profound way. So I do encourage all of our listeners to check out your book, Simple Guide to ADHD Regulation. And for our listeners, tell them where they can find more of your stuff, where they can kind of, reach you on social media and
this is your
take some of your
section.
trainings. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. You can find me at 𝘕𝑛𝐴. That has all the information about the book, my podcast, ADHD with Jenna 𝐷, as well as kind of my newest endeavor, which is I am working with companies on regulating the workforce. So if you want to work in a regulated environment, you can hire me to talk at your company as well. Cool. This work really, yes, you get all the benefits of the feel good, be more relaxed, less reactive, but you will be more productive. Just think of all of that energy in the workplace, calming down and going into action is like so productive, so energetic. You have, and even for yourself as ADHDers in your work, if you're more regulated at work, you get more energy for your personal life. You're not going to be crashing when you get home from work while getting more done. This is why I say win, win, win. So all of that information is at 𝘕𝑛𝐴.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on the Attention Different podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what to say after being so regulated for an hour and 26 minutes.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Yeah, the conversation itself leaves a breath of fresh air. So thank you. It was wonderful to have you on. And to all of our audience, stop fucking rushing. Listen to Jenna 𝐷, read the book. Learn to regulate.
Don't rush out and get her book. Just walk.
Just walk
slowly, intentionally.
Walk.
Press that buy button very intentionally. If you're ready to do the work, don't have to, but if you're ready, go ahead.
Well done. Well done. The Attention Different podcast is hosted by me, Stephen Tonti.
And me, Aaron Smith.
The Attention Different podcast is produced by 𝘉𝐸𝐿𝐵𝐸, who also wrote the theme music.
Edited by 𝘉𝐸𝐸𝐿𝐵𝐸 and Ian Lopez.
Visit us at attentiondifferent.com, where you can learn more about our team, discover resources, and much, much more.
We're on Instagram at @attention_different.
And you can watch all our episodes like this one, plus tons more free content on youtube.com/@attentiondifferent.